We are living in an age where video games, movies, and entertainment cost more to make than ever before. AAA video game developers are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to develop games that are released in half-baked, incomplete, or downright mediocre states. And then, once put into the marketplace, entirely fail financially. Last week, it was Star Wars Outlaws that popped a big hole in Ubisoft's life jacket, sending the company into acquisition war. And this week, it could be Dragon Age Veilguard, with a release of Halloween 2024 that has many online preparing to mourn the loss of BioWare when it's inevitably shut down if Veilguard financially underperforms. You know it's bad when even IGN is coming out and saying, if we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note. It's like they know there's something wrong here and this game may not sell as well. But failure is something that BioWare knows very well. Mass Effect Andromeda nearly destroyed the Mass Effect franchise. Anthem was so poorly optimized, it was acting like malware on PlayStation 4s. And Dragon Age has not seen a sequel in 10 years. Dragon Age Inquisition, the third game, released in 2014 and was compatible for the 360 and PS3. And among all the baggage of previous failures being held against them, making customers wait 10 years for a promised sequel, and the fact that there is serious apathy in the marketplace, what does BioWare do? Well, they released Dragon Age 4 into the market, featuring the most intense presentation of polarizing political ideologies that I've ever seen in a AAA video game. Dragon Age 4 features lots of leftist political beliefs and propaganda. And I'm not making a commentary on whether that's good or bad, I'm just saying. It's right there. To pretend there isn't leftist ideology presented in, gosh, even the marketing for this game would be disingenuous. But political ideology and identity politics is not what this video is about. There are plenty of other channels and creators covering that in both positive and negative regard. There is a bigger factor in play here that I do want to discuss, though, and that's the advertising for this game and how reviewers and influencers sell their integrity for access. Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, where we're posting new videos nearly every day. The sentiments I'm about to discuss are things I've brought up on many occasions. Marketing, journalists, salesmen, influencers, content creators are different titles given to people who are advocates for companies and corporations. They are the mouthpieces for companies to convince you to buy stuff. And when we look at the reviewer marketplace, when we look at content creators who get flown out to experience games early or get review copy codes, we need to consider, where does their allegiance lie? Does their integrity hold to their own values and morals? Will they review content honestly even when it's at the expense of the corporations they speak for? Or are they willing to lie to their audiences for the betterment of their corporate masters? This is a deep topic, and it should be something more people are asking. Who can you trust? What platforms or people are speaking truth to what corporations are selling us? Having been part of the broader marketing world for a decade IRL, let me explain how content creation works as a job. So, you want to be a content creator? Great. Pick a niche. Let's say gaming is your niche. You make content about video games. You talk about how much you love gaming, and you provide insights and ideas that others aren't sharing nearly as much. And you participate in the creator space for a conservative 2 years. You actually do really well, amassing quite a large audience. And with your audience, you have power, because the wider your audience is, the more views you get, the more reach you have to sell things to your viewers. That's why subscriber numbers have power. That's why high view counts matter. To viewers like you and me, subscriber numbers mean that the person is important. And if all these people are watching them, I should too. But to advertisers and corporations, high subscribers means a wider net to cast to make sales. And so you've been a creator for 2 years. You've gotten 100,000 subscribers. You've done very well. And over the course of those years, you've kept your nose clean. You were honest and true to yourself, and you just happen to be a nice person. You happen to be a nice person who isn't overly critical, but you hold to your values. You tell the truth. And then the brand representatives come knocking. The managers come knocking. The people who want to leverage your voice and your audience to make money. And the brand reps tell you they want to give you free things for your endorsement or coverage of their products. Maybe they'll even pay you for your time. The managers come and they say they can get you even more brand representatives on the phone. They can get you more brand deals. Now, what was once you making content and growing your audience has turned into you selling for corporations. They give you access in the form of early access, review copies, free vacations, event access, early news and information, just so you could break the news first. And with that access, you expand your audience even more, because you have access to those reviews and news stories first, before everyone else. And then, the conflict begins. Can you maintain doing work for those corporations and still hold true to your authenticity? Many creators can, of course they can. If you cover movies and you take a brand deal for Ridge Wallet or one of those stupid mobile games, no one's gonna fault you for that. It might be annoying, but they pay well, and you should get that bag. But when you're a video game influencer, and you get early review copies of games or special treatment, free vacations to attend events, I have to wonder if your endorsement is authentic. Are the words you're speaking true to you or true to your corporate financiers? If you were to choose to be honest when you dislike something, or choose to challenge the things that are imperfect, would that jeopardize the level of access you have with those companies? Would those companies perhaps stop working with you if you were too critical or even critical at all? At what point are you willing to go easy on the outstanding problems in order to persuade your audience to buy things? Now, this sounds very black-pilled, like you can't trust anyone. And that's not entirely what I'm saying. There are many creators who make review content that I hold to a high caliber. For instance, there is one video in particular I think of every time I discuss this topic. In 2019, Fire Emblem Three Houses came out on the Switch. I had never played a Fire Emblem game and I don't watch anime, so an anime JRPG type game was not in the cards for me at all. Until I saw a review video from Happy Console Gamer who had genuine praises and criticisms for Three Houses. And based on that review video, I went to the store that day and bought the game. It was like 2 weeks after the game released. That game is outstanding, and I wouldn't have bought it save for a video review. So what I'm saying is not that we should never listen to reviewers. What I'm saying is you need to figure out who you can trust, and you need to learn the art of being able to decipher truth from marketing lies. There are many creators who will tear games and movies apart, and they don't need to be that critical. And then there are the creators who downplay negative things in order to not infringe on their corporate interests. And the reason that this is important with Dragon Age is because we've seen creators come out and admit that toxic positivity could very well be happening. Here we go. Streamers critical of BioWare's Dragon Age not given review codes. Interesting. So this plays right back into what I was saying. It's the conflict. Why would the company work with you when your commentary could impact sales? So, as a buyer, I have to be careful about taking any influencer's word for it. Don't forget why they're called influencers. They are there to influence your buying habits. Now, with this story, we see Wolfheart FPS, who, I don't even know who that is, claims that himself and 2 other creators that were critical after hands-on gameplay of Veilguard did not get review copies. But also, we should point out that there are other creators that were positive after the gameplay and also didn't get review copies. So it's not like BioWare blacklisted these original 3 detractors directly or indirectly. But you know what that means? Or do you know what that implies? All of the people who got review copies were positive about the game. Does that mean the game is going to be a 10 out of 10? Well, not exactly. But it also means that the sample size of reviewers are going to skew to a point of positivity where I, as a buyer, can no longer trust any of the review copy receiving content creators. Like at that point, on the surface, I know that BioWare was caught restricting critics. Now I can't trust anyone in the variable set. And it gets worse here. It's not just influencers being positive about the game. The majority of the access media journalists are giving this game stellar reviews too. and because of the work that influencers and journalists are doing promoting how amazing the game is, the Steam sales have increased dramatically. It's still very early, but Veilguard's financial viability could be back in play. For a while there, it looked like this could be the end of Dragon Age and BioWare altogether. And so now we're in a situation where we know this game features propaganda of a sort. We know that there are variables of can we trust what reviewers are saying about the game, and on top of it all, it seems like lots of people are pre-ordering the game now, and it could be a hit. Time will tell on that. What's important is that you spend your money on the things you feel best represent you. I think Veilguard has pussified one of the coolest dark fantasy genre franchises in order to make a perverted dating simulator in this Dragon Age 4. So I will not be buying on that premise alone. I also don't like the change in art style and bastardization that has been made of the legacy characters. So for me, I'm out. But this might be exactly what you're looking for in an RPG. Have a great time with it. All I would say is, be careful with who you trust for gaming recommendations. They could be owned by companies that laugh at you for buying their products. My friends, I want to thank you for joining me for this pondering video. If you would, please like the video if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new and want to see more from me, and until next time, create, innovate, inspire, may the contrived thread of destiny from the Acolyte be with you. And for the love of God, cancel Disney+. Take care.